Hello, and a good morning, a very good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, the good people of the show. Weird. Anyway, hope your day is good and everything is good in your world. Hello there, everybody. Hope you're well today. Hello there. Today's video, finish the sentence, Dave, before you continue. Today's video, everybody, is about my top fuzz pedals in the world. I've been wanting to do this video for quite a while, actually. So, and a few people have said, you know, why don't you show us your favourite fuzz pedals? So today is that day, people of the tube, and I hope you enjoy it. So it's also kind of a double-edged. Yes, double-edged, I thought I did that then, and that's like a triple-edged. There's not triple-edged. But this is like a double-edged video as well, because I finally have installed in my John Frusciante Strat Nick Oswald's 62 replica hand-wound pickups. So I'm going to be kind of reviewing them as well as showing you these fuzz pedals as well. So that's the order of business today, everybody. So let me show you these fuzz pedals first. I do... These are in no specific, the Ocean Pacific order. I have difficulty saying SPs. Anyway, these are in no kind of like specific order. I said it again. These are just like my favourites. But I do have a number one, which I will get to later on. You heard it at the intro, and I'm sure some of you can probably guess what it is if you've seen a couple of my videos. But in the past, but. Let's start here, shall we? And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in and I'm going to play through some of them and show you different sounds that they've all got. They all sound very similar, and that's the reason I love them, because there's a certain characteristic in a fuzz that I always look for, and these all have that kind of thing, which makes me very, very happy. So yeah, let me show you what I've got on top of the amp, and I will leave the sixth and my favourite one till last. So let's go in, shall we, for a closer look. That's just a little bit weird, Dave. Anyway, so left to right, the first one is the Danelectro Cool Cap Fuzz version 1. This is an absolutely mega fuzz pedal. It's dead simple. You've got a fuzz, tone, and a volume. And I just love this pedal. In fact, the fact that it looks like a spaceship, I mean, it looks amazing. And it's really, you know, it's built like an absolute tank. This is like one of my favourite fuzz pedals of all time, ever. I remember when I first got this pedal, plugging it in, I was just like, oh my lord. and I absolutely love it to bits. The only problem is it's extremely noisy. It's like the DS2. It gets a little bit... It can get a little bit over the top, and I'll show you what I mean with that later on. It's not horrific. It's not as bad as the DS2, but it can get a bit noisy. Okay, so that's the first one I'm going to show you. The second one I'm going to show you is the Dirty Boots Fuzz. I love this thing. This is from Broken Audio Devices, and this was very kindly gifted to me, this pedal, and I love it to bits. It's absolutely mega. It's as simple as can be as well. Single fuzz dial. Sounds amazing when you run it through like an overdriven signal to start with. And you got this weird low pass filter, which again, I'll show you, and it works on a separate, this filter that works on a switch. And I love this as well. Absolutely love this pedal. It's so cool. I've used it a lot for bits and pieces, and recording as well. It's absolutely mega fuzz. The next one along I'm going to show you is the KJR-Harmony. I think it's called the Sustainer. This was very, very kindly, again, given to me by a very, very awesome fellow in Japan, and it became one of my favourite fuzz pedals as soon as I plugged it in. And this is one of those fuzz pedals where you need to kind of like have everything on full whack, and it sounds immense! So that's the next one I'm going to show you. Then moving straight into my top spot was the Green Carrot Pedals Infatuator, and it was the IC78 side, the left side, that made me very, 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 very happy in my little fuzzy world. So I'll be showing you the left side of that and play a bit through that. And then there's the Hubcap John Sun Valley Fuzz Face, and this thing, apart from looking like amazing, which it does in its tobacco tin, is literally one of the coolest fuzz pedals I've ever heard in my life. I absolutely adore this thing. And again, it's the only way to run a fuzz pedal is everything on full whack, which pretty much all these are, will be today. So yeah, and I say the sixth one, so these are kind of like the 5, if you will, but the sixth one I will show you at the end of the video. So without further ado, let's plug in the Cool Cat, and let's make some noise with the Cool Cat Fuzz by Danelectro. They don't make this anymore. They changed to a version 2 with a black sticker on it, and it's nowhere near as good. They should have stayed with this version. This version was absolutely superior. Okay, so without further ado, enough waffling. Let's make some fuzzy goodness. Okie dokie, everybody. So I thought what I'd do to start with, because it's kind of like I said, a double-edged review as well. Before I get to the Cool Cat Fuzz, I thought I'd change some clean tones quick with these Oswald pickups, because they sound a bit mense. So these are Master Nick's 62 kind of like reissue hand-wound pickups that he makes, but modeled like a 62 pickup. And they sound immense. And I will be doing like a little comparison video as well between these pickups, my White Strats pickups, and the 62's pickups as well in the future. But listen to this. That's the bridge, and then you get at basically position 2. I don't know what that arm thing was. Anyway, moving along. Position, middle pickup now. It's just that. It's just that Jimi Hendrix blues tone. Position 4 now. Neck and middle. The Steve Ray Vaughan position. You know, it's just that kind of like John Mayer. You know, is that, and then there's the neck pickup, everybody, which you all know I love. So yes, these pickups are glorious. So you'll hear them throughout the video, and they just respond really lovely with fuzz. They're just awesome single coils. And Nick, thank you very much for the gift of these pickups. They're absolutely gorgeous, and I love them to bits. I'm gonna put them all on my guitars. Okay, so moving along. Okay, so Cool Cat Fuzz. I I run all my fuzz pedals over a dirty signal to start with. So, all fuzz pedals today will be run with the Marshall governor in front. So, this is kind of like the basic kind of core tone you'll hear before the fuzz. So, this is just the governor on its own. I mean, that's enough to make you just go, yes, thank you very much indeed. Okay, so adding the Cool Cat fuzz now, this is where things get fun. This fuzz pedal sounds immense. Okay, so, governor, Cool Cat. It's glorious. The first thing I played on it was, when I first plugged it in, the first thing I played on it was I Experienced by Jimmy. And it's just, when you play an F chord, an F major chord, on a neck pickup with this fuzz pedal, it's just, it's this. What's that? Oh, that's another thing as well. It cleans up really nicely. I mean, this is another thing I really love about certain fuzz pedals. This one and number one do it probably the best. But it's really cool is when you have the fuzz pedal on, it does create a lot of hiss. But you get a really cool cleanup sound. You know, that's a gorgeous cleanup. Yeah, absolutely mega. Absolutely mega. By the way, I've got to apologise for the darkness of the day. It's the weather. I can't. It's just grim and horrible. Okay, so. But the only problem is, like I say, it hisses loads. And that's what I was saying about it being noisy. So if you're doing a slow blues and you want that kind of nice broken kind of blues tone, at the end of every phrase you get that hiss, so it kind of gets in the way a bit, and you can't keep turning it off and on every now and then. You won't tell you want it, but you just be on it all the time. So that's kind of a bit annoying. But that hiss isn't as bad when you're in a noisy kind of venue, but anytime it goes quiet, which it tends to do during like a slow blues, it's just really obvious that, you know, the hiss is going on, and it's not really, it takes away the dynamic a bit. But other than that, this fuzz pedal sounds absolutely amazing. So yes, there we go, everybody. That's the Cool Cat Fuzz. I love it for its kind of clean-up sound, even though it does hiss and it kind of gets a bit annoying after a while. You can kind of deal with it a bit, but
I just love it for its full-out fuzz more than anything. It's just glorious. And like I say, just the net pickup sound with this thing, it's just gorgeous. If you can find one of these, buy it. Seriously, a mega fuzz pedal. Okay, so that's the Cool Cat by Danelectro version 1, not version 2. Version 2 is, well, it's not, but it is. If you know what I mean. It's not as good. This is far superior. Okay, so moving along now to the Dirty Boots pedal. Okay, everybody. So moving along to next fuzz pedal of the day, the Dirty Boots by Broken Audio. Electronics. I love this thing. It's just gnarly fuzz, and it also has this mad filter, which we will play with in but a moment, especially when we put delay on it. It turns into a theremin. So, there's only one way to run this pedal, and it's fuzz all the way up. So, that's just the governor, add in the Dirty Boots, just fuzzy loveliness. It's a lot darker than the Cool Cat. There's a lot more kind of girth to it. About that is a fuzz pedal with a filter that you can manipulate the frequency of. Yes, all types of yes, everybody. So yes, that's the Dirty Boots by Broken Audio Electronics. Link to that pedal is in the description box below. Loved it there, got it, still love it now. It's just big, fat, dark, and absolutely fuzztastic. It's just really grungy sounding, especially if you go net pickup and play big power chords with it. It just sounds horrifically dark, like really, like that, in the best possible way. It's like a murderer who hugs you before he kills you. That's a bit weird. Don't need a bass player with that sound. Oh, it also does this weird thing. You can't. It's like the DS2, this pedal, especially the way I run it. But you can't leave it on because it does that. But you can get this weird manipulation with your volume control. So if you turn it on and start rolling up your volume, it sounds really weird. Which is really cool. I like that a lot. That's the pedal to click on when everyone in the venue you're in is just like not paying attention. You just do this. And look at me with that look. Immediately you got everyone's undivided attention because they're scared of you. Anyway, but then you get kicked out, so yeah. Anyway, moving along. So next one up, everybody, is the Electro-Harmonix Sustainer fuzz pedal. This is a mega pedal as well. So let's plug this in, make some more fuzz noise. Okay, moving swiftly along, everybody. This is the Electro-Harmonix. I'm eating my own hair. Sustainer pedal. And good gravy does it sustain. It's another noisy one, as you can hear. But, you know, the only way to run a fuzz pedal, like I said, is everything on full whack. If you're not doing that, you're doing it your way, which is totally fine. But it's a lot more fun when it's kind of crazy and over the top, I have to say. I don't know. Anyway, I don't like subtle fuzz. You know what I mean? If I'm going to use a fuzz pedal, I want it to be like the extreme, so to say. So yeah, everything's on 10, and it just... This isn't as dark as the Cool Cat or the Dirty Boots. The Dirty Boots is probably the darkest fuzz pedal I think I've got. It's like the most grungy one. Whereas this one's got a lot more kind of like... I don't know. It's just a bit more kind of like it's just not as dark basically. Let me show you what I mean. So especially when you're neck pickup on this pedal, it sounds immense. It sounds really gorgeous. So everything's on 10. So this is the Governor on its own, and adding the KGR Sustainer. The KGR Sustainer, everybody. Yes, yes, yes. Fuzz, yes. For fuzz's sake. Okay, so let's move on. Next one up. The Infatuator. Are you infatuated? I certainly am. Okay, so next pedal. The Infatuator by Green Carrot Pedals, everybody. Left side. It's the, I can't see. The IC78 side. It's basically like a big muff. And I love it to bits. There's a dip switch on this pedal. If you've seen the demo review I did it recently, there's a switch on it. But you can go from like, you know, it's kind of like, it's like a fat switch, if you will. I like the fat switch up. I like the switch up, if you will. It's like a filter switch. Voice, I think it's, what's it called? I can't see. Shape. It changes the shape of the fuzz, basically. But, the wave of it. So, again, everything on 10. Governor. Infatuator. I mean, what's not to love about that big fat fuzz noise? And this one's got some real nice singy sustain with the neck pickup. I can't talk. Okay, so I'm getting carried away with that one. It's just got a really lovely, warm, sustained sound, which, again, that's one of the things, I bet you can't tell, but that's one of the things that I go for in a fuzz. If it's really kind of fat, warm sounding, and it just has that lovely sustain to it, where it's really smooth, really fat, round sound. I just love that about fuzz pedals. Well, I'll say I'll get to number one when I get to number one, but I say that is absolutely gorgeous at sound. So this is the other sound. This is the other shape of the pedal. It's a little harsher. It's a little bit brighter. So it's a bit more what I would kind of like think of when I think double muff kind of sound, big muff, sorry, sound kind of sound. Carried away, but you get the idea, everybody. So that's another one of my favourite fuzz pedals, and I say I've only got it recently as well, but that's gone straight in there. It's just absolutely gorgeous. But that fat, with the switch up, the on the neck pickup is just satisfies my want and need for a big, fat, warm fuzz kind of tone. But again, it's one of those things where you need it on when you want it, off as soon as you don't want it. It does that. Okay, so let's move on to the last one before my number one fuzz pedal of all time. Hubcap John's Fuzz Face. This is awesome. Let's get to this one. Okie dokie. So second to last pedal. This one is fighting for the top spot in my kind of like, you know, my favourite fuzz pedal of all time. It's fighting for that spot, this one, and this is the one that comes closest to my favourite. I mean, I love all these pedals. They're not in any order of which one I like more. There's just something that this one does and my number one does that puts it above the others, so to say. So, the Hubcap John Sun Valley Fuzz. It's basically just a fuzz face, and this is my go-to Jimi Hendrix pedal. If I feel like I want to play some Jimi Hendrix stuff with just kind of like, you know, guitar, fuzz pedal, and amp, this is the fuzz pedal I go for above all. It just has the Jimmy thing. Yes, just a million times yes. There's a lot of reverb on that. Where's that coming from? There we go. And breathe. That's the hubcap John Fuzzface, everybody. I think I'm overheating. Okay, so the one thing I love about this fuzz, I can't talk anymore, everybody, is the way it just responds. I love the way it's clean up. It's not overly noisy. That's on full fuzz, and you can still get that really cool. You know, you get that really cool sound without it being too over the top noisy. And I love that. And in a venue, you can't really hear that. It just brings out the Jimmy, which is just nothing wrong with that. And it really reminds me of Jimmy's kind of like fuzz sound from like just Jimmy's fuzz. It's just Jimmy's fuzz sound. It's not his early fuzz tone. It's a lot warmer, fatter fuzz tone that he got later on, like in 1968, 1969, 1970s Jimmy fuzz sound. It really is. Have you ever seen the Isle of Wight footage of Jimi Hendrix playing at the Isle of Wight Festival, which is the most amazing footage in the world? You can hear when he turns his volume down, his amps are doing that. They're always hissing because his fuzz face is on. And there's one point where his amps are hissing, and he can hear it, and he wants it really quiet. And he goes over it, and it just goes dead silent all of a sudden. It's really, really cool. I think it's a machine gun. Anyway, that's fried me. But I'm going to move on now to my favourite pedal, which I will talk about now. Okie dokie, everybody. So, final fuzz pedal of the day. My favourite fuzz pedal is the Electro-Harmonix Double Muff. It's just... I just love it. It's just one of my favourite fuzz tones because it's more of a fuzz overdrive. It's still got the kind of like the fuzz character, but it's got this kind of overdrive kind of sound. And I love it to bits. And I use the Nano. The Nano actually sounds bigger bigger. It's... Hubcap John, it's your fault I can't talk anymore. Hope you take responsibility for your actions. Anyway, but yes, I use the Nano because I reckon the Nano actually sounds better than the full size big double muff. I don't know why. I did have a full size one, and I sold it because the Nano just sounded better. I don't know if it's just me being neurotic. It probably is, but I think the Nano sounds better than the full size one. But it's just my favourite fuzz pedal. I just love it to bits, and I run it with both fuzzes on, and I just love it. And it's got minimal hiss, and you get the most gorgeous clean-up tone. From that to this. say, it's just got minimal hiss. It's like there's not much hiss in it, but there's so much sustain and fuzz and gain in it. You just don't need it to be... You can just leave it on. That's combined with the governor, so that's a lot of gain. You know, but I can turn the volume down all the way, and it's just, you know, minimal amplifier hiss, and just rolling the volume in, and just get a really nice clean tone. And at moment's notice, you can go from that really clean to kind of like, you know, full out gain. And everything in between as well. It's really cool because you can get like really kind of cleanish. To a little bit more distorted. More. To a little bit more still. Bit more. Bit more. And then all the way up. So you got so much kind of gain to play. This pedal gives you so much gain to play with on the volume control. It's just like one of those pedals that if you set your amp slightly dirty to kind of like that AC/DC, you know, that kind of AC/DC kind of tone, and then leave this pedal on all the time, you can do everything from your guitar. And it reminds me loads of Rory Gallagher, you know. Rory never had pedals, he would do everything from his guitar. You know, and you can just do everything from your guitar, and then you can kind of go from that to stuff like yes! It just does things, and I like what it does. It just makes the guitar ridiculously interactive. Say from that to, you know, to full out gain, it's just... I can't remember that bit, sorry Rory. I need to have a drink, everybody. I'm dying of heat exhaustion. I get overly excited with fuzz pedals. I bet you can't tell, but it's just yeah. This is my favourite because of that, and I got in. It was just kind of like a weird kind of like thing. I got into a fuzz pedal. Well, this fuzz pedal. I didn't have a fuzz pedal before I tried the double muff. I first tried the double muff when I was in London at the Institute. One sec, everybody. Sorry, everyone. I'm cooking slowly from within. It's fuzz pedal's fault. Fuzzy's fault. Fuzz fault. Anyway, I first tried the double muff when I was in London. I'd never tried fuzz pedals before that. My setup at that point was very straightforward, just distortions, no fuzzes. And oddly enough, get ready for a name drop. It was the bass player in the Vaccines. He was on the same course as my brother, and he lived with me and my brother for a while when we lived in London in our flat. His name was Arnie, and he lived with us in London. And I say later went on to join the Vaccines and you know be the bass player for them. But he lived with me and my brother for for quite half a year in the flat we had in London. And he said you should try this pedal out. He'd been using it on his bass, and he said you should try this pedal out. And he lent me his double muff pedal. And I plugged it in, and I immediately just fell in love with it. I was just like, I need one. So the next year when I came home from London, I bought one, and it became like a staple pedal on my board forever. Oddly enough, it only recently just came off because of a DS2, but it's back on there now. And I don't think it'll be coming off. It's nice to have it there as an option, just in case, you know what I mean? So, and it completes the board as well. There was a gap for it, and I've got to say, playing it today has made me miss it, so it's definitely staying. So there you go, everybody. That's my top fuzz pedals that I own. These are all the pedals I adore. The double muff and the hubcap John's Sun Valley are my top spot just because of the fact I can leave them on all the time and do everything from the guitar and not really have to worry about it. You know, just max them out and leave them. I love all of them though. I love all of them. There isn't a bad pedal among them. You know what I mean? They all do what I want from a fuzz. And they all sound slightly different. They've all got different characteristics. But I say the double muff is my favourite. It's just there's something in it. And the ability to just kind of like have it on all the time and do everything from your guitar is really, really cool. And from a singing standpoint as well, when I play with the trio, when I have to sing a lot, it's quite nice to just be kind of able to kind of give different tones just on the volume without kind of like having to tap dance and whatnot. Which I enjoy doing as well, but it just gives an extra option just in case, you know, you just want to just kind of do it from the guitar, which is really cool. So, yeah, and also, I will note, everybody, that I run the fuzz pedals always last. And I think my last is everyone else's beginning. So, I'll let you know the signal chain today. It was going from the guitar straight into whatever fuzz pedal it was. So, like the double morph, or the Danelectro, the Dirty Boots, the KJR Harmony, the Infatuator by Green Carrot, or the Sun Valley Hubcap John fuzz. It was going from a guitar straight into a fuzz pedal, then it was going to a DS2, which I didn't use, then it was going to my Ibanez Wah, which I used every now and again, then it's going to the Golden Plexi, which I didn't use, and then it's going to the Governor, which I did use throughout, then it was going to my Line 6 delay modeler, which I used for delay every now and again, you heard it, and the Voodoo Child thing, and then it goes to my Zoom, and then goes to the Orange. So that was the effects chain. So guitar, fuzz, DS2, Ibanez Wah, Golden Plexi, Governor, Line 6 delay, Zoom pedal to the Orange CR120, set really clean. So that's just that. So yeah, there we go, everybody. And I always run fuzzes last. I never ever run a fuzz anywhere else. I like fuzz pedals, like the first thing from a guitar, it has to be a fuzz pedal. I just prefer the sound of it. It just sounds better. It just becomes really warm. Yes, thank you very much indeed. That's a gorgeous pedal. Okay, so and I do like to use the DS2 for fuzz as well. The DS2 it's not really a fuzz pedal, it's distortion, but it does kind of have the same characteristics. So this is a double muff. This is the DS2. So kind of like, you know, the number one spot is kind of like the DS2 and the Electro-Harmonix double muff in a way, but the DS2 isn't really a fuzz pedal, but you can kind of like pass it off as one. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video, everybody, and I will see you again for another one. Have a great morning, afternoon, and good evening. Nick Oswald 62 pickups are immense, everybody. They sound gorgeous, and I'll do a comparison video at some point soon. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again. I need to go lie down. I'm worn out, I'm knackered. And I'll see you again. Thank you very much. Have a great morning, afternoon, and evening. Fuzz on!